I'm back. We previously exposed Charlie Cook, Candace Owens, Turning Point USA, UK, and Ron DeSantis as British Pilgrims operatives and operations. In fact, if you really want to be honest about it, the meme should have each of these characters, their faces photoshopped on top of British redcoat uniforms because they're British loyalists and they're all part of the plan to take over America by the British Pilgrim Society. And if you haven't seen the videos we've done on these subjects, here are a couple of thumbnails to show you so that you can go find them on the internet. They're all over the place by now because people are getting wise on this Ron DeSantis. Now, he may have fooled all you Floridians down there, and I, for one, used to be a Floridian. He may have fooled you, but he's not going to fool the rest of America because we're on to him, British scum loyalist. We discussed Ron DeSantis and showed you through his secret society membership of St. Elmo Hall and his special position with the U.S. Navy as an attorney run by Serco and Kinetic that spies on America, and Ron knows this. He's a sleeper cell for the British Empire. He's a traitor. And you're going to vote for him for president? And then there are George Farmer, the Oxford groom son of Baron Michael Stale Farmer and husband to Candace Owens. We showed you in previous reports how Charlie Cook and Turning Point USA are funded by Vanguard and supported by the Queen's Bank. It's called Coutts Bank. Get to know it. Coutts, Coutts Bank, as in cooties. We discussed Ron DeSantis and showed you through his secret society membership of St. Elmo Hall and his special position with the U.S. Navy run by Serco and Kinetic that Ron DeSantis is a sleeper cell for the British Empire. His mission is going to be to destroy America. Now, he may have had you Floridians fooled for governor, but America needs to wake up before they put this British operative into a high position like the presidency. And then Candace, of course, she can't even prove if she is a natural born citizen. So she should never be on a ticket for VP or president. And we see that happening right now. We see the British pushing her towards that. They're all working for the British Imperial Empire to take down America. And Ron DeSantis's goal is to get to the presidency so that he can do it swifter. And if you don't believe me, read the research that we have found. Ron DeSantis stinks like a skunk flattened on a Florida highway. Well, this is beginning to sound like a Dan Brown or a Tom Clancy novel, if you ask me. It's getting quite intriguing. Well, anyway, the miners have added some more research about Michael Farmer, part of the story. And all of you that are interested in silver and gold rigging, pay attention because Michael Farmer, who is Candace Owens' father-in-law, is the man behind the London rigging. But before we get there, let's recap. What is Turning Point USA UK really? Well, Salem Media. Let's look at Salem Radio Network. We've already outed them as controlled opposition. We did several videos a few years ago about Salem Media, and of course, YouTube Big Brother took them down. They've censored all of our material. Why, you ask? Because we tell so much truth. Of course, YouTube has censored us. If any of our truths get out to more of the people, you will know for sure that the British are attacking America. They've been doing it for centuries, but now we're beginning to see the results of that attack. Turning Point USA, and it's also known as TPUSA, and its Salem Radio Network sponsor is heavily British Pilgrims funded fake conservative organization. We need look no further than the list of Turning Point USA funders, including Vanguard, Donors Trust, Schwab, Fidelity, Chase, DeVos, Koch brothers, Cato Institute, American Enterprise Institute, which I pointed out before, Dick Cheney is a trustee. Now, Turning Point USA founder Charlie Cook, who's currently age 29, hosts the daily Charlie Cook Show on the Salem Radio Network and podcast. Salem says, quote, Charlie Cook is the next best thing in conservative talk radio, close quote. Betsy says hogwash. Salem's second and fourth largest shareholder is Vanguard Group. Yep, the same fund that's holding all your 401ks and your mortgages and your stock portfolios that's getting ready to crash, leaving you high and dry in a global Ponzi scheme. Let me continue. Turning Point USA UK is evidently the fake political dichotomy between conservative and liberal used historically by the British Pilgrim Society to keep the American public divided so that they can rule between the two sides of the fascist coin. So we all know that. They're called the Uniparty, but the Democrats and the Republicans are all beholden to the Pilgrim Society, and that would include Donald Trump. Donald Trump is not pro-America? No, not by a long shot. Anybody who would step out and encourage his citizens to take by themselves a lethal biological weapon is no friend of American citizens or the world. And the British Pilgrims, it's not just the Democrats and Republicans. They have factions all over the world set up as fronts to keep you from piercing the veil to look at the Pilgrim Society. Let's see. Some of you will be looking at the Rothschilds or the Vatican, the World Economic Forum, the Council on Foreign Relations. All of these groups, they're all part of the Pilgrim Society. The bankers, they're Pilgrim Society. The Rothschilds, the Pilgrim Society. You have to know your enemy. So know your enemy, call out your enemy, and start taking it down. Don't be Alex Jones, the internet's biggest bloviator, talking about Ron DeSantis should be the next 2024 president. Where is his head? Doesn't he do any research over there at InfoWars? Doesn't he understand who the Pilgrim Society is? And hasn't he read the background of Ron DeSantis? How does Alex answer the question that Ron DeSantis is a British Pilgrim Society loyalist in place to take down America? Oh no, what does Alex do? Come out and support Ron DeSantis. Give me a break. Here's a reminder. Fascism is the political result of an alliance between a government and selected private companies. And oh, we've got a list of private companies. The real power behind Turning Point USA UK and Candace Owens is British Baron Michael Stahl Farmer. This is her newly minted father-in-law. And remember that Michael Farmer, Baron Michael Farmer, didn't get his title by birth and nobility. No, he purchased it. He didn't earn it. Not like earning it would mean anything. I mean, look at Prince Pedo. Look, Americans, we left Britain a long time ago thinking that we were going to get rid of this rule by the monarchy, but they tricked us. They went inside our government and they've been operating us ever since. And then you look at the lawyers all over. They're all members of the British Bar Association. They're all British loyalists. And we have Crown agents running around. And then we have the Senior Executive Service. And by the way, let me say, for all you congressmen and women who are calling out the deep state, deep bureaucracy running this country, grow yourself a pair and start calling it out the way it is. It's called Senior Executive Services. And if you are listening to this broadcast, you can straighten up these Congress people and get them on the right path of naming the enemy, because we need to identify and isolate the Senior Executive Service, take them out by defunding them, and get rid of all these rats. People have no courage out there, especially congressmen. Baron Michael Farmer, Candace Owens, Pilgrim Society handler. We believe, it's kind of obvious in the research actually, they're closely tied to the Crown and to Vanguard. Baron Lord Farmer is a card-carrying British Pilgrim Society member. The UK Parliament website shows that while he throws a donation peanuts at Christian projects, he's deeply invested in General Dynamics, IBM, Qualcomm, Royal Dutch Shell, LF Ruffer Investment of Funds. I could go on and on. British Pilgrims Petroleum, Dixon's, Hetz Ventures, which is Israeli, British Telecom, on and on and on. Look, the guy has got his finger on all these interlocking directorships. And what that is that's when companies, they may have board of directors at one place, and then they put maybe one or two of the same board of directors on this other company, and that company is doing it with another company, and they're all interlocked. So they all march by the drumbeat of people like Michael Farmer, who of course takes his orders from the Queen and pedo Prince Charlie. Now, Michael Farmer, Baron Michael Farmer, put out a curious video about his ostensible conversion to Christianity. This well-produced video is disingenuous. Is this the best Christian testimony that his propagandists could concoct in the classic stuttering style of lying peers? Farmer shares a bizarre collection of contributing elements in his conversion, including a recommendation to drink beer instead of hard liquor, a fresh appreciation for Mother Nature, an outlier visit from a local minister, the birth of his first child, and a heavenly visitor. This heavenly visitor is an arrogant piece de resistance image of the sign of the cross of Christ that appeared to Emperor Constantine at the Milvian Bridge on October 27th, 312. Who can argue, right? We can. Words are cheap. Farmer's story is fake, in our opinion. He did not forsake his riches or show any signs of real repentance. He just started throwing mere pinces of money at charities to neuter them with his filthy lucre, which is a dishonorable or immoral way of collecting your riches. Farmer's propagandists want us to believe that his conversion to Christianity has subsumed his life of service to the mammon demon. But we all know you can't serve both, Michael. You're serving mammon or Christ. Which one is it? Curiously, the publicity of Farmer's alleged conversion coincides with the emergence of his newly minted American conservative daughter-in-law, Candace Owens. Now, this is the same man who ran J.P. Morgan and Enron's demonic metals business and who is interlocked with the demonic Vanguard Group. Baron Michael Farmer is an Enron, J.P. Morgan metals trading monster. And for some curious reason, he let his son, George, marry Candace Owens. Connect the dots. Baron Michael was embroiled in the Enron corruption involving derivatives, gold, silver, platinum, palladium, and lithium. Baron Michael was a director of J.P. Morgan Metals Limited, number 00972941, from October 1, 1994 to February 1, 2002. Don't let him tell you he doesn't know about silver rigging. Busted. He was a dealer in commodities and commodity derivatives and a member of the London Metal Exchange, the London Bullion Market Association, the London Platinum and Palladium Market, and the London Clearing House. Makes you wonder why he wants to wrap his hands all around Candace Owens to secure her place at the White House. You know, these things take time. She just won't magically appear. Some speculate that she will be Ron DeSantis's running mate. Oh, anything is possible with the money and politics that the British Pilgrim Society has. Now, Vanguard, let's go back to Vanguard, finances the Uniparty, including Candace Owens. Notably, Vanguard is the largest shareholder in Baron Michael Farmer's company, Sempra Energy, and is the second largest contributor to Charlie Kirk's Turning Point USA. Vanguard is also the second and fourth largest shareholder of Charlie Kirk's daily show on the Salem Radio Network and podcast. And Vanguard, as we all know, is just taking over the world business. They own everything. And soon they're going to own your house. If you don't pay your mortgage and your mortgage company goes belly up, it's all going back to Vanguard. So they own everything. They also control Baron Michael Farmer's largest shareholders, which is, I just listed them. It's a huge list. And on top of this, Lord Farmer also owns 14.15% of Cora Gold, which are West African gold mines. Oh yeah, I typed this page up. I thought you'd like to see. This is all the stuff that Farmer's invested in with his company and his associations with Vanguard. Oh, and we couldn't list it all on one page. Yeah. That's Candace Owens' father-in-law. Let me remind you, Matthew 6:24. No one can serve two masters, for either he will hate the one and love the other, or else he will be loyal to the one and despise the other. You cannot serve God and mammon. Monarch's Coutts Bank controls Candace Owens. Oh, let's go back to the Coutts Bank story. Now, don't forget, Ron DeSantis' sister was working on Coutts Bank's accounts when she mysteriously died at the age of 30 in London. Baron Michael Farmer is also deputy chair of the Council for Christians and Jews, where the monarch is the patron. So too with the Pilgrim Society. And of course, they stir up anti-Semitic propaganda all the time. Note that the Pilgrim Society is the progenitor of British Zionism via the Lords Rothschilds, like Sir Moses Montefiore, who funded the first kibbutz settlement in Palestine, and also Pfizer Big Pharma. Also, Henry de Worms, Lord Pirbright, who was the progenitor of GlaxoSmithKline Big Pharma, Lord Rosebery, Big Media, Empire Press Union, and Sir Alfred Mann, the progenitor of AstraZeneca Big Pharma and Imperial Chemical Industries, ICI, Noble, gunpowdered, World War I chemical warfare, and other Khazarian converts to Judaism. Now, if you've heard this video for the first time, you may not know these names, but if you've been an AIMCAT and you've been with us for a few years, you know all of these names, and they're all attached to the early beginnings of the British Empire trying to take over the world with Cecil Rhodes. And if you think it just affects us Americans, you are sadly mistaken. This run from the British Imperial Empire that is run behind the scenes by the Pilgrim Society is out to take out every country on the face of the earth. And they've been doing damage through centuries. If we could just get rid of the British, we would be such a happy planet. Can you imagine? The new Pilgrim Society wars are targeting the human bloodstream and human psyche because the British Imperial Empire is too chicken shit to take it to the battlefield. So they have to be sneaky and conniving and use their psychology and their mass media propaganda to put people in a state of fear so that they self-inject these biological lethal weapons. The Spanish flu that murdered 50 million souls, it's going to be nothing compared to what they do this round. Well, anyway, it was induced by Burroughs Wellcome and Big Pharma, which is Baron Henry de Worms, a maternal Rothschild, at least we believe, as far as the research tells. Sir Henry Wellcome bankrolled the first Imperial Press Conference 1909 that weaponized newspapers, media, intelligence, and propaganda. And if you haven't heard about the Imperial Press Conference in 1909, you need to dig around in our sites because we produced a lot about it. This is not going to be in any of your history books because the Pilgrims control the publishers, and they do not want you to know that in 1909, they all got together, all the big media, all the politicians, the lords and the ladies, they got together, they yucked it up over dinner, and they went and set out a plan to take over the world. And one of the key factors was to control all the media, because if they control the media, they can push the narrative. And we're just simple people out here. We're just doing our work. We pick up a paper, we think that what they're telling us is true, and it's not. It's lies and propaganda. And then the other thing that they did at the Imperial Press Union Conference in 1909, they set up all of the spies around the world. So when you hear the term Five Eyes and somebody wants you to think that they're a good group and that the United States is a part of it, and New Zealand and Australia and Canada and everything, everybody's all cozy, you're sharing information to save humanity. No, it's not. It was the British way of spying on all of us. I mean, look at Hannigan. He comes straight into Trump Towers with Robert Mueller's blessings and wires the towers. Hannigan is British, MI6. And the FBI is controlled by British Five Eyes. Of course, they run false flags all the time. They're trying to have us start a civil war in the United States so that they can jump in with their military law and take over it. We must resist. Stay calm and let the British expose themselves and then die on the vine. And when I say British, I am not talking about the good people of England. The people in England are as much a hostage to this nasty British pedophile, disgusting, mammon-fed people as all of us. Baron Farmer is also the lead trust of the Cross Trust. The monarch's Coutts Bank is in the Cross Trust Bank. Then we've got Ron DeSantis' sister that he won't talk about, who's working with Coutts Bank, who mysteriously dies in London, and we have no explanation. But then the same group that's funding Turning Point USA has Ron DeSantis come out, like a little premiere, get ready for Ron. Of course, they're only talking about Ron as a governor right now, but everybody's talking about him being 2024. And then you have the bloviator, Alex Jones, who is also controlled by the British Pilgrims. We can be more specific who controls him, but there he is marching to the tune that Ron DeSantis is the man. No, he's not. And for people who say, well, then who do we have? We only have Donald Trump and Ron DeSantis. Well, then we have nobody. Let the American empire, as it is being run by the British Pilgrims, disintegrate and dissolve, and we'll pick up the pieces from the ground level, from our community and our states, and we will run America the way it should be, as a republic. There should be no central government. There should be no central police like the FBI, and there certainly shouldn't be the IRS thugs that work for the Federal Reserve that want to come and take the last little bit of wealth and food out of the American middle class. And this is going on worldwide. People of the world, stand up, call out the Pilgrim Society, and take out the top dogs in that organization. Oh, yeah. Who's the top dog? Let's see. That would be Prince Charles. And then we have Soames, who's the head of Kinetic and Serco. I've published this list before. Here's a quick shot. So what do we conclude? First off, Candace Owens is hopelessly compromised and unqualified, and she's certainly not qualified. It doesn't have the natural-born citizenship requirements. At least she hasn't shown us to become any high-holding officer, Senate or Vice President or President of the United States. So anytime you see her head pop up, here I am, push it down and remind people that she's a con and hasn't proven her American citizenship. Pull up our research reports and have Candace answer the questions that we have about her citizenship and her parentage. Charlie Cook and Turning Point USA is a fake conservative group fronting for the British Pilgrim Society. If you are donating to this group, you are donating to the enemy. You are donating to the British Pilgrim Society and its efforts to overthrow America. So stop it. And attending the events and clapping for the people that they put on stage is equally as abhorrent. You are participating in the destruction of America when you support Turning Point USA and all the people that they promote. And then Vanguard. What is Vanguard? Look at their logo. It's a pirate ship. It's a British ship. They're pirates. They used to rule the 7 seas. What do you think? They just rolled up operations and stopped? No, they infiltrated their navy. They are the British Pilgrim Society. They still rule the world. They own everything. They're gobbling up everything. So how are we going to get out of this? What we're going to do is stand back and let them eat themselves, because in the end, the tail is eaten by the head of the snake. And that's what we're seeing at Vanguard. Let the whole thing collapse. And this is not financial advice, because I'm just a teacher. I wouldn't know anything about finances, but I would do what many are. I read about it in the internet. They are they're cashing in all their stocks. Anything that's out of Vanguard, Fidelity, all these companies, they're cashing it out. They're putting it in a safe bank, if they can find a safe bank. And then they're immediately taking that cash, that worthless Federal Reserve notes, and they're going out and they're buying hardcore physical silver and gold. And that's how we take them down. They will collapse. And old Prince Pedo, he'll own all that Vanguard stock, but it'll be worth nothing. And that's what we want to do. We want to collapse them economically so that they can't spend any more working against we, the people of the world. Anyway, you see what I brought in today? I don't have a necklace. I usually wear an energetic necklace. But since we're attacking the big boys now, I decided to bring my little spear and let's get them right between the eyes, right here, and take them out. And we can all do it if we work together. So name the enemy. It's the Pilgrim Society. The head dog is Prince Charlie. And in America, the bureaucracy is not run by the deep state. It's called the Senior Executive Service, and they all need to be defunded and go. And anytime you hear a politician, from Donald Trump to your local yokel, talk about the deep state, stand up and correct them. Make them spit out the words, the real words. Who is the enemy of humanity? The enemy is the Pilgrim Society. Lillian Scott Troy told you that back at the turn of the century, and they thought they shut her up. But here I am, continuing her message.